Hello, dear students. Welcome to a very special lecture series on scientific writing, part number 5. I'm Dr. Pervez Ahmed. In these particular lectures, we will have a discussions on formatting the scientific documents. So let's proceed towards today's lecture. So formatting scientific document is very important task when you have completed writing a scientific document, like for example, a research article or your thesis whatever, maybe it's your research report, or maybe it's a synopsis, etc. So in scientific writing, formats vary considerably to serve different situations. For example, if you're asked to write a formal report, so a formal the style of the format or the format of the formal report would be like this. You can see it here. I mean, it should be in single column and it should be like in double line spacing. I mean, it's the format of a report. And if you are asked to write or do the formatting for research articles, so research article is normally, it's double columns and the spacings. It's vary from journal to journal, but normally it's the titles and the abstract they are in single column, but the others, the abstract. The title and normally your name is affiliation there in single columns. The abstract normally in some of the journal, the popular journals, they also lie in the single column. But some journal prefer uh, to uh, to keep it in line with the other part of the research article, just like introductions or material method and research and discussion as well. So normally have after the first page, it's the title page. When we go to the second page of the research articles, so normally we have double column. We have the we have the data in double column uh, for the research articles. But if you come to the presentations, you're trying to prepare the presentation slide. So be remember the format of the presentation slide is different, because in the presentation slide you want to show your data to your audience, the audience who are present, or the audience maybe they are the online viewers. So you do not put all the data, you just put the bullet point, and you discuss that by saying you discuss that with to your audience, or you trying to explain that in front of your audience in a particular seminar or in a conference series. So this is the different formats for the report, research article, and presentations. So be remembered, not all rules formats are constants, because the formats varies from the type of the scientific documents you have. For example, if you are asked to write a scientific report, so in Sandia laboratories, you should write the thing like this. In scientific report, you should utilize, you should write a figure, like you have to utilize the complete words figure. And you have figure 1, so you have to write complete figure 1. Similarly, you can write table 1, and for equation you can specify it like equation 1. And the same thing if you have it in a textbook, so you have to write in practice hall, and that should be, you should make the figure 1 just like you have it here. It should be written like this. Short, just only 3 words, fig dot 1. That is the textbook style. That's how you write it in the textbook. Similarly, the table you can write it like the report, but in equations, it's only one difference, that is you put parentheses around the 1. And similarly, if you are doing this for the journal, so in journal you have to follow SMA. That is, you should write fig dot 1. But it's almost similar like this, but here you can see that it's a capital F, but here we have a small f. Similarly, tables, you write a table complete, but here, in the textbook and report, the T for the table, it's the capital word, but here is the small word. The small alphabet, that is T. Uh, but if you come to the equation, so in journals, the equation is written in short, only EQ dot 1, unlike the textbook. and therefore where we have the complete words equation. Here we have only eq dot one for the journal. So uh, that should be understood while you're writing different scientific different scientific materials like refor textbook or the journals. Formatting is we remember whenever we are saying the formatting. So sometimes the people are being confused by the word formatting. So it should be clearly understood that formatting is the arrangement of the type on the page. You have a lot of words, you have many paragraphs that you have written during your scientific work. So when you're asked to do the formatting, so be so it shouldn't be confused. It should be clearly understood that by formatting we mean the arrangement of type on the page. So that mainly consists of topography, or you can say that it's a typography. It's a particular typing style that you write and then you put it on the paper, and that when you put it on the paper, so it should follow a particular layout. That is, it should be either in a single column, just like we have it, the title and the affiliations. The title, you know that for a title the type of style is different, or the font size different that from your names and affiliations. And then when it's come to the abstract or introduction, so here you can see again the typography is different and also the layout is different than from the titles and your names and affiliations. So each type style has its own personality and power. For example, we have two different type styles, two different categories. One we call serif, and the other is called sans serif. So as we mentioned here, each style have its own personality and power. So here are different typing style and its personality. So in serif we have Time New Romans is most commonly utilized style in the scientific writing. So it should look like this. Similar in this series, we have Get Amount, a Courier. But unlike this, we have sans serif, and sans serif we have Arial style. So Arial style look like this. You should identify the difference. From just the appearance though. In Arial narrow, so Arial narrow is another type of sans serif, and then we have comics again. Comic sans, so it's also lie in sans serif. So these are different type styles with its own personality. Uh, Another important thing is that every writer should avoid large blocks of capital letters. In simple words, it's better to inform the audience that they should avoid large block of capital letters. So instead of that, they should write the first letter, the starting letters, as in capitals, and then utilize the small letters, because words said in all capital letters use more space than text said and the lowercase. And along with that, word said and all the capital use more space than the word said and the lowercase. This is understood, and you can see it here. You can analyze it here for yourself, because we have written type is to read. So here you can see that it's taking more space in comparison to type is to read. So when it comes to the scientific document space, you know that in each journals the space is limited. So the more the space is taken by your documents, so with that, if you are publishing your document in open access, so it will require more money from you with respect to the space occupied by your documents. So it's better to avoid the capital words, the capital letter. Instead you should follow uh, the small letter and your writing. Choose a type size that is easy to read. Whenever you're preparing a document, so with respect to that documents, you should choose a type size. And why is that? It's because that you should make it easy for the reader to read or easily understandable. So again, it's vary from type to types. For example, if you have poster, so for poster normally we have a type size that is equal to 48 points. But if you are preparing a presentation slide, so presentation slide, it varies from 24 point to 36 point. I mean, it can vary anywhere between these point. I mean, starting should be 24 and the ending should be, I mean, you should select the presentation slide and the typo size in this particular range, that is from 24 to 36 point. And if you are preparing a scientific titles of your document, so we remember the titles should be between 14 to 18 points. And the text of your documents, I mean, it's normally research articles or your thesis or maybe your scientific report, so it should be from 10 to 12 point. And if you want to have a footnote in your documents, so uh, the size of that footnote should be the minimum, that is it should be around 8 point. So these are different type size that one should follow. I mean, depend on the type of the data, the type of material you want to produce. I mean, it's up to you where you are trying to produce, or you're trying to prepare a poster, presentation, a title, text, or footnotes. Footnotes, according to that, you should vary your point size or your typing size. In your layout, use white space for associations, emphasis, emphasizes, and hierarchy. I mean, irrespective of whatever actually you mean in your documents, you know that sometimes your documents should be written in a way that the audience understood even your emotion inside the document. So, whenever you organize or whenever you're trying to format your document, so be careful about your layout. And that's why we're saying that you should use white spaces for associations, emphasizes, and for hierarchy. So here you can see that we have, this much of the spacing. It's normally used for heading, and a small spacing is for the margin, space for the margin. And similarly, we have, if you have this much of spaces, so it's normally for space for illustrations. I mean, you should keep it normally, it's very easy. The people who are expert in the MS Word, so all these options, they are easily available there, but you only need to understand it with respect to your documents. I mean, whenever you do our scientific documents, so in scientific writing you should care about these. I mean, what kind of spacing you should leave for heading, for margin, and for the illustrations. So be remember all these. I mean, some journals, they are offering their own format where you should just cut, copy, paste your data. So normally every journals, I mean, they do not give the format, so you have to follow the journal format. I mean, the most common format which is available, and for that you have to learn it from the seminar. So follow the format that is expected or required for the situation. As we mentioned, every university or every research institutions, they have their own format for scientific documentation. So it's important for the students or for the scholars to follow that particular format. It's easily to do the formatting in that particular format, because if you have the data, so you just need to cut, copy, paste in that particular format. So be careful about that. So that's all we have for this lecture. Thanks for watching, but stay tuned for the coming lectures. That should be again on scientific writing, and that should be part number 6 of the scientific writing. But in that particular lectures, we will discuss 18 suggestions for writing good scientific papers. I mean, now you have all the skills for scientific writing. So now you will proceed toward the scientific paper, that what a scientific paper is, and how you should write the scientific paper. But before to proceed toward the scientific writing a scientific paper, we should have, we should know the importance, or we should have some suggestions for writing good scientific paper. So in the coming lectures, we will have discussions on the 18 common suggestions for writing good scientific paper. So stay tuned for that lecture. Till then, bye bye.